white, affluent, highly educated males like mint chocolate chip, right? I don't know how old you are. How old are you?
28.
Oh, there we go. So I nailed it, right? Nailed it. You like mint chocolate chip, right?
Mint chocolate?
Mint chocolate chip.
What is it? Mint? No.
Wait. I thought all 29-year-old white males like mint chocolate chip. What do you like?
It's an ice cream.
Yeah.
Vanilla.
Vanilla? That's a problem. You like vanilla?
Yeah, I do like vanilla.
Oh, thank God. Save the sample. How old are you?
29.
Oh! Mint chocolate chip and vanilla, right?
No.
Oh, my God. I'm spoon feeding you here, but you see where I'm going with this? Small sample bias. I don't have time to ask every single person. If I asked every single person what your favorite flavor of ice cream is, we're going to spend the whole day finding out about ice cream flavors, and someone who's going to be lactose intolerant and ruin the whole experience for everybody. I don't have time to do that, Doug. I'm busy. I got to make a decision very quick. I got other deals I got to look at. Fine. Mint chocolate chip, too bad for vanilla. Make it happen. That's small sample bias. And then you start to justify, well, you know, I did my research. I did, you know, well, Mike's like, well, you didn't ask everybody. It's like, I know, Mike, I didn't, but if I do that, I'm missing every deal. I can't ask everybody. I got to do the best I can with the resources around me. I don't have an unlimited amount of funds to deep dive on every single deal we look at. They'll fire me because I've done no deals and burned $5 million in resources. Let's talk about solutions. So here's what you can do to minimize their impact. Anti-herd mentality. Prior to a group meeting or discussion, independently write down lists for yes, no, items that need future vetting. Consolidate everyone's lists into a single document so all data are objectively laid out for consideration. You're doing it before you start getting tainted and biased by the halo effect and by, you know, oh, the senior partner of the firm loves this deal. I see that happen all the time. I'm sure you guys do also. The senior partner makes a statement, we're all like, harumph, harumph, harumph. We gotta, you know, herd. Safer to be wrong with him than right by my, you know. Okay. Express observations rather than opinions. If you take anything out of today, take that one statement as a mantra. Express your observations. You're smart, analytical people doing analysis, right? I don't want your opinion. I mean, I'm sure, Bob, you're a nice guy, but really, your opinion, not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your analysis. Okay? Your resume talked about analysis. You have experience in analyzing things. I want your observations. What did you see? Not what do you think. The words, I like the person, should not be into a conversation that you bring to the table. That's for the human capital. That's like me saying to you, I love this company, revenues look good, inventories look awesome, and you're looking at me like, yeah, you've got 15 years of studying human beings, you've got 0 minutes studying balance sheets. You're right. That would be inappropriate for me to make an opinion about a company, whether you should buy or sell. I can make an opinion about people, because you spent 15 years studying businesses, I spent that same time studying people. Have people allocated to their expertise, expressing the observations rather than their opinions. Because when they express opinions, we start getting influenced. Oh, that Jack guy, he's got like the Mensa IQ. I know that he's really smart. He was a killer at his last place. Harvard MBA, Harvard Law School. He thinks this company sucks. I guess it must suck. That small sample, what biases I just throw in there? Small sample bias, anchoring, halo effect, herding. Layer them on, right? As opposed to, if he didn't tell me he thinks the company sucks, then he just shows me his observations. And I can have a conversation about the observations as opposed to his opinion. Now he's taking a side and I'm forced to not take a side also. Checklists, identify specific categories to judge or measure something. Management team's talent, weigh them differently to create a customized algorithm. When I sit in management meetings pre-assessment, I actually have a spreadsheet. Happy to show. Happy to show it to you. I didn't put it up here, but I'm happy to show you what it looks like. And I have categories and criteria. I'll sit with the PE firm and say, Dave, what do you guys look at? What do you think is important? They'll say, well, for CEOs, we want these categories, these skills and qualifications. For CFOs, we're looking for these. Head of sales, these. Team dynamics. Whatever your mojo is. Fine. I'm not here to judge it. Great. My job is to figure out how to assess it. In the 2-hour dinner and the 3-hour, I'm not the one drinking the wine and the booze. I'm the one listening to the conversation, seeing it. And I'm not going to get it perfect. But you know what? I'm going to get it better than you. Because I'm not worried about the deal. I don't even know what EBITDA is. I sat through 3 hours last night. No offense, Bobby, because it's a great course. It's a fantastic course. I'm not a banker. I didn't go through that training. I'm studying Pavlovian psychology my whole life. I'm sitting there, my head is spinning. I'm like in the front row, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing here? Right? I know what EBITDA stands for, right? But you guys can out-muscle me on any balance sheet and figure out what. That's what you guys are great at. That's what you do. That's your expertise. Know what you're good at. And then what I do is create that checklist, ranking it, some ranking system, 1 to 5. And I'm putting down data points. It's not just, here's my opinion because I'm the master of the universe. I'm drawing this conclusion about Avi's communication dynamics, and he does not respect the CFO. Here's why. In the meeting, and this is what I would type up. CFO started to talk, Avi cut the CFO off, put the CFO in a box. Said to the CFO, you're not really sure what you're talking about. Important data point for us to document. Right? How'd the CFO respond? Important data point for us to document. You're busy on to the next question about the business model. I'm still lingering on. I'm watching the CFO and seeing how he's handling that. Is he breaking down? Is his body language starting to go like this? That's the nuances. Because you want to know that before you buy. You know an interview question I ask everybody interview? It's a great question. It's a painful question, but it's a great one. John, tell us what we don't know about you that we're going to find out. Genius. I can't read minds, and I'd rather find it out now than in 3 months. Not a deal breaker, but just kind of lay it on the table. What feedback have you gotten? What is it about you, Alex? Yeah, you look perfect and great, but I love the bald head thing. We're buddies. But what are we going to find out about you that we don't know? Oh, you don't like public speaking. That's good to know. We'll get you some coaching. Okay. As opposed to, we didn't know that. Surprise out of left field. No one likes surprises. You like surprises? Nobody likes surprises. You want certainty. As much certainty as you can get. Devil's advocate, assign someone to take the other side of the discussion and think of reasons why the candidate or the company is the wrong investment. Have someone intentionally take that role and walk through why this is a bad decision. I know the numbers look great. I hear your data points, Jack. I've got all your observations. Yes, we have spent a lot of time and energy. Let's start discussing why this is a bad investment to make. Let's discuss why this hire is a bad executive to bring on board. We're all talking about why she's great and wonderful. Let's talk about why she's wrong or why he's wrong. Force the discussion. And if one person's appointed to it, it disarms it. Jason's not being a jerk. Jason's just playing the role of devil's advocate. And next week it's your turn, Scott. And then after that it's going to be your turn you're on. Share the responsibility. Premortem. Before you make the decision to hire a person, purchase a company, think about what can go bad and wrong before you do it. You all do postmortems, which are nice and fun, but if you do it before, it's more effective. If this turns into a disaster, what is our plan? What resources do we have lined up and earmarked? What could possibly happen in this disaster? That's what you want to be thinking about pre-mortem, before you make the investment. Think about how this could go bad. Now that goes against everything you've thought about in terms of performance. Anybody here play golf? Great. Bob, you're on this tee box saying, oh boy, if I hit it in that sandbox, what am I going to do? Are you thinking about that? No. That goes against everything that sports psychology says. That would be bad thinking, right? That would be negative thinking. In investments, you have to think about the bad stuff first. Before I start cutting checks, what could possibly go wrong? That's very different than how you think about everything else in life and everything you read about positive thinking and positive mental attitude and focusing and all that. Do you know why I stopped using traditional sports psychology in my practice? 18 years ago, after my first year working with a trading firm, my first year working with them, I'm using classic sports psychology stuff to improve their performance. Because I'm thinking to myself, if I can just get these guys to relax more and focus more under pressure, they'll perform better, won't they? That makes sense, right, Charles? I mean, it's what you do in golf. You know what the feedback came back after the first year? How's Doug doing? Feedback? We're still losing money. We just feel better about it now. That's a problem. That's not a business model. I got to figure out a way to add value to the process. Okay? So conditioning your mind to think in some circumstances on the golf course, yes, think positive, happy thoughts. In investments, think about the water traps in the sand first. Think about that first. If it goes in there, what happens? What's the plan? What's the fire drill? Take an outside view. Assume you're an independent consultant. What advice, guidance would you give to yourself in examining this management team or company? Elevate yourself. Pretend you're me. Instead of looking at all the numbers, if you're an advisor, if you're an operating executive or an advisor brought in to look at this deal, what are you seeing? That reduces any sunk cost you have associated with it. Whether it was your emotional sunk cost, time and energy, resources, whatever, reputation, all those sunk things that come in to help your decision-making process. If you look at it as a consultant, you can make a much more objective decision. So let's look at some stages here of where you can actually practice these things. This is a worksheet that I'm giving you to leave with. I get you for an hour. hopefully you got something that's sunk in a little bit, right? But practically speaking, I know that you're not going to walk away, with, oh my God, I've just learned about 10 different cognitive biases, and now I know exactly how to fix them. That's not a realistic goal. This is a worksheet to help you actually put some of this stuff in place, and we're going to think about it right now. It's not rocket science. We're all human. We all experience them. I just want you to think about, oh, you know what? I do experience that at that level. So I'll go with the easy ones right here. Pre-investment or management team dinner presentations. And I think on your handouts I had it under hiring executives, which is interesting because it's the same thing. These same biases affect these same stages. So pre-investment, meaning in management team dinner presentations, these are some of the biases that will come into affect your decision-making process. Halo effect. Bandwagon. Sunk cost. Small sample bias, anchoring. With ICMs, investment committee meetings, some of the biases that will come into place that affect your decision-making process there. Again, bandwagon, herding, sunk cost. If you're in that dynamic or that room with someone at the firm that's a very senior individual or very outspoken or has a strong personality, all those things come into play and make us decide as to how far we're going to engage into something or not engage into something. If you're aware of the fact that you see in their meetings, it's like, you know what, we pretty much, we do vote on it, but it pretty much is just like one person's vote. If you're seeing that, that's called herding. Have a conversation with the team. Hey guys, silly thought, I read this book about cognitive biases, and I attended this ACG thing with this bald nutty guy who was talking about biases. And I kind of think we're doing that here. I kind of think herding, that's actually happening with us. And I'm not sure that's getting us to the best decision. We get to a quick decision, but I'm not sure we're getting to the best decision. And maybe we ought to think about our process. And here's a suggestion on how we can improve that thought process. Now you're getting to a solution action oriented. All right, so give me one for, well, you guys. Someone pick a category so you can walk me through it on what biases you can start to plug into there. Who wants to be my volunteer? Great, thank you, Adam.
Valuation of company.
Great. What biases go into there, Adam?
You got anchoring, as you figure it out, you come up with a number and then you don't go anywhere
Right.
that far away from the number. Hindsight bias, we've seen a company like this before, so it has to be in this range, otherwise that's it. Small samples, again, only looking at this and comparing it to two other companies and saying therefore the number's got to be the same.
Excellent. You can keep on going.
Overconfidence.
Confirmation bias.
Confirmation.
Excellent. Okay. That's awareness. That right there is the awareness. That starts the conversation. Now you're going into it knowing, and as I told you before, we can't get rid of these things. We're human, we're going to have them. Okay. But